So welcome everyone to First Unitarian Church of Honolulu's weekly Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pau Hana. This is our time together when we explore all kinds of different dimensions of spirituality and of faith and of life in these lands and life in general. We're really excited about tonight's program, where one of our own members, Ramoda Anand, is going to share some of his experiences interviewing Ram Dass, the great spiritual teacher. And so we're definitely looking forward to that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about activism and spirituality and activism. It's going to be right up the alley of a church like ours. So I'm really happy to do that. And Ramoda's been kind enough to let us take a few moments at the beginning of this Pau Hana to turn over to one of the leaders of the Transformative Justice Task Force for Faith Action. Lee Curran, if you wouldn't mind taking a few moments to tell us about some of the things that happened at the legislature today that we can take part in the next few hours / 24 hours to help along a really important piece of legislation. So if you could go ahead, that'd be great.
Thanks for this opportunity, Reverend TJ. Yes, late this morning, Sylvia Lucic, who is chair of the Finance Committee, she set up a hearing for House Bill 1567, and that House bill is around cash bail reform. So we have a hearing on Thursday, February 24th, 2 days from now. It starts at 11 a.m. Now, the rule is that you have to submit your written and or your oral testimony 24 hours in advance. So that gives us till tomorrow at 11 a.m. to get it in on time. You can put in your written testimony after that. It's not guaranteed they will read it, but it's okay to still submit it.
I'll just raise your
testimony is when you go on the website, they ask you if you want to do just written or written and oral testimony. When you do that, the written and oral, you still submit your written testimony, and then they'll also send you a link for the Zoom to do your oral testimony the day of the hearing. So again, please try to get in your testimony by tomorrow before 11 a.m. I have a lot of you on my emails in our Reach book group, the Transformative Justice Task Force. But if you didn't see anything from me today and would like to submit testimony, please put something in the chat with your email and I will get that out to you right after we're done this evening. Thank you so much.
More timely, what time is the hearing on Thursday?
It is at 11 a.m. They have, I think, about 20 bills scheduled. It's a lengthy agenda. Our bill is the very last one on the agenda. So yeah, so 11 a.m. on Thursday the 24th, but you do need to submit your testimony 24 hours prior. So that'll be tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lee. Yeah, important work, and I'm really proud of all the work so many of our members and our friends are doing. So let's keep it up. I'm going to add a spotlight now with our special guest, and if it's okay, I'm going to also add his father here. So Ramoda, welcome to First Unitarian of Honolulu's Pau Hana. You've been here a few times before, haven't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Kaba, I think it's your first time. So Kaba Anand, welcome to First Unitarian Church of Honolulu's weekly Pau Hana.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be with y'all. I'm a member of a Unitarian Universalist congregation based in Tulsa. And even though I live on Maui, my sister is the co-minister there. So I've joined them on many occasions, and it's a pleasure to be here with you. Thanks, Ramoda, for inviting me. And TJ, both of you.
Yeah.
Great. And so Ramoda, you know the first question I probably ask at Pau Hana, and I ask it of everyone, so it's only fair. Who are you and what do you do?
all kinds.
You're an advocate for people of all kinds.
Yeah.
I like that. And that's actually the answer to who you are and what you do. I really like that answer now that I think about it. Yeah. So wonderful. We're going to watch in a little bit an interview you did with Ram Dass. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be, Ramoda? You're going to ask your dad to do that? Great. Kaba?
How much time do I have? I'll give you the short version. So Ramoda was went to high school by his own choice. He had been homeschooled, and at one point I was, as his dad, I figured one of my primary jobs was to help him to be all that he could be and really experience life to the fullest. And I said, you know, what else can I do for you that you might need? And he said, well, I don't feel like I have a voice in the community. And so at the time I decided to enroll us in production training at the local cable access television station. So we learned how to make videos and produce videos and get our voices out there. And the first video we aired was Ramoda, me interviewing him and asking him what it was like to be in a wheelchair in high school. And it was really, really interesting. And we did a series of videos, and the last one we did was Ram Dass. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot to say about that, but I'll leave that. So that's how we ended up with the Ram Dass video. We're hoping to do more again, so restart that. It's been many years since we've done one. And one of the great things with a video is that if I put subtitles, anybody can understand Ramoda's speech, which might be difficult for some, and TJ's doing incredibly with it. So I don't have to interpret. TJ can do it. That's good. But Ramoda's very good at making himself understood. You know, if you give him the time and you're one-on-one with him. So I encourage it also. That's my story, the short version.
Great. I think one of the ways, Ramoda, do you want to add anything to that?
I listened to the book
So you listened to his book Be Here Now, and that was what you wanted to interview him on?
He said his grandmother had given it to him, and so that was his introduction to Ram, I guess, right? Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think one of the ways to go is we're going to watch part 1. It's 15 minutes long. I'd like to do that, and then we could have some more discussion and some more questions. But as you're watching, we'll do that. And so I'm just going to play it. It's about 15 minutes long, and we'll get together after that and we'll talk more about it. How does that sound, everyone? All right. Here we go. This is the right way to do it. I'm going to share sound. I still talk out loud, friends. I do these things every day for 2 years, and I still tell myself what I'm doing out loud all the time. Oh, this is the wrong one, of course. And then I chose the wrong screen. All right. Let's see here. This one. Did it again. Ah, there we go. It is the correct one. Wonderful. All right, everyone ready? Here we go.
Oneness. Oneness. It's all God. It's all God. It's all one. It's all one. Everything is one.
When the cousin, what do you do with your anger? I have anger. What do I do with it?
What do you do with anger?
Yeah.
Okay. Anger is in the mind. And I go down into my heart and I witness the anger. And I say, wow, boy, that's anger. And I look out at the anger, and then I am the looker. I am not the angry person. I'm the angry person is out there, and I am watching the angry person.
I also have a lot of jealousy. What do you? And that's what
It's the same thing. Anger, jealousy, all those negative stuff, they in the mind. It's a thought. It's a thought. And we identify with thoughts, and we shouldn't do that. We should thoughts go by like a river of thoughts. The river of the there's an angry thought. There's a jealous thought. Wow, there they go. Wow. Wow. And then they go by, and then I sit in the watching part. I just watch it down in my heart. Watch it. Then I don't get angry, and I don't get jealous.
What do you do for fun?
For fun. Huh. For fun. I don't know. I don't have. Yeah, I guess I fun. 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 I swim. That's fun. I play with my cat. Fun. I don't know, I have fun. I joke with people. I talk to people over the internet, on the Skype. I sure like to eat.
I like to do that. Do you have any kind of movie?
Well, what do you do for fun?
I do music. And it goes to a lot of men.
Do you find politics fun?
Yeah.
I think politics is kind of dull.
Yeah, but I actually know very well because that's the only thing I can know and make a difference.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of things that we can do a difference. I think like joining organizations, and some of them are very fun. An organization that that cures blind people, and that one I've years of that years. It was fun. It was fun. It's fun to help people.
That's why I do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably more advanced than me if you think politics is fun.
Do you listen to music?
Yeah, I like to listen to music. Very much I love to music.
How do you like worship by people?
I think that's their minds. Their minds. They worship me because I know that I'm not anything to worshipped. But people come up to me, oh, Guruji, oh, that's their problem. It's their trip. Nervous is another thing, like anger and jealousy. It's nervous is up here. Nervous. Boy, there is nervousness. Wow. And I'm witnessing the nervousness.
What made you want to write the book?
Well, I wanted to tell people what my guru, what a person he was, what miracles and what love and that, and I just kept writing the books. You know, there wasn't anything else to do to communicate with how wonderful he was. Because when I went back, when I came back from India, all I knew how to do was to tell people about him. And the books were coming out. Mike. Well, sometimes they were because I needed money, and sometimes they came just to tell people about him. That's truth.
If one
one thing to tell people. I like to tell people that they are loved. They are just, they're unconditionally loved. We are loved. Yeah, that's a pretty good thing to say.
Oh, that brings me to my next minute. Look,
Yeah.
I like how were you let people feel happy fit that into their daily life. Because we all know that people are really busy.
Well, people like me, I look around and I love the ocean and I love the trees and I love the grass and I love you and I love me and I love the rug and I just love everything I see. I just love everything I see. And pretty soon, it's so that pretty soon I'm floating in a sea of love. Yeah. Because you know, you can, when your ego's up here, you're looking at everything with fear and, oh, is the weather going to change? It's ooh. But I look at everything as they're part of the one, and part of it is, I just can't stop loving it. Wow. At first I kind of thought I was crazy, but it was just wonderful. It's wonderful. And then when I so much love comes out of me, then it radiates a love, and then I feel that coming back to me as loving from me. Like my guru is in my heart center, and he loves me. He loves me. He loves me.
Well, thank you for that. Oh, it's still going. Hang on.
You just gotta say.
Thank you so much for that, Ramoda, and for that, Kaba. I wanted to just, take a moment and say thanks. How does it feel watching that again or listening to it after 10 years, Ramoda?
Because of all I have to do everything.
Beautiful.
Different. Because of all the things that have happened with my mom and everything. Did I get that right?
We don't have to get too much into that, Ramoda. You can if you want, but you could leave it at that. But if you want to say something about that, you can.
the only one was really, there's no limit. The only one was there's no limit.
I'm not getting it, Ramoda, sorry. When you made the video, you didn't know your mom was not going to be well?
Yeah.
I see. I have a little story to share briefly, if I may.
Yeah.
It's
So-
Ramoda's show. Whatever Ramoda says goes, Kava. Go.
making the videos was amazing. Making this one was amazing. And, you know, Ram welcomed us into where he was staying, and he and I chatted, and turns out we grew up in the same town in Massachusetts. And I don't know, there was just some interesting things. We're both born in the same month, and we had some funny things. But my favorite part of the video is not in the video. That's what I wanted to share, which is at some point later in the second one, so towards more the end of the interview, Ramoda and Ram just went silent, and they were just looking at each other with such adoration and respect, and that love field that Ram was just talking about. And it just went on and on and on, like, you know, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute. It just went on, and they were fully present in it, and they just were in a field of silence together. And I couldn't include it in the video because it doesn't really work in that medium, but it's the best. It was the best part. And everybody in the room that was there was his caregiver and Ramoda's mom and myself. It was like what we call in Hawaii, chicken skin. Everybody in the room was like, "Oh, this is so beautiful. Thank you." And then they continued with the interview, and like as if nothing had happened. It was so sweet. But
That's what I mean.
do you remember that, Ramoda?
That's what I mean.
That's what you mean?
But when I made it, I didn't know all the things that I would go
You weren't, well, who knows what's coming ahead? You didn't know all the things you were going to go through. Yeah, well,
through. And that really helped me.
it helped
They
you.
helped you. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm not used to somebody else who can do that. So I started.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, TJ. That's so beautiful to hear that again too. And it really
Thank you very much.
touches my heart. So
Thank you very much because I look out all the time.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you very much for doing that all the time.
No, you do that because I forget.
Yeah, we forget. That's why we have the internet. No, I'm kidding. That's why we have friends, and that's why we have community to remember.
I
Yeah.
forget what he told me.
What he told you.
I forget what he told me all the time.
That's the thing about spiritual things. They sound great, and then we forget them in a week or two sometimes. So, what did you hear this time, Ramoda, that you're glad you remembered? Did something stick out?
Yeah, he's not worried so much. Yeah, he's not worried so much.
Oh, that you need to not worry so much.
I always think that people don't want to help me. I always think that people don't want to help me.
You worry that people don't want to help you? Yeah.
You know, I don't ask for things. I don't ask for things that I need.
Welcome to the human race, my friend. We don't ask for the things we need. That is at the heart of most people's spiritual dilemmas. Yeah, we all need to do that more, my friend. Yeah. So what did I learn? One of the things I really love is hearing practitioners of whatever it is, whether it's jazz or whatever, but Ram is a practitioner of a long standing of meditation. And when people practice that and are willing to share the way they look at the world or their feelings, and I really enjoyed his description of the way he watches certain unhelpful emotions passing by. I felt it was more than just explaining it. I could feel his experience of actually watching them pass by at a very deep, practiced way that made me believe it is possible to get to that place. So I think that is one of the great parts of a teacher, is the practice, and then you believe that it's possible.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. And anyone who talks about love is okay by me. So I think that also that stood out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. We did have a question someone sent me asking, how did you feel? And we've heard some of your dad's story about some moments during the interview, but how did it feel for you interviewing Ram Dass? Was it scary? Was it fun? You said you seemed very relaxed. Can you say something about that?
It was very fun because I didn't know what I was going to say.
It was really wonderful, but you didn't know what you were going to say?
Oh, I was really wonderful because I didn't know what I was going to say.
Because is a very important word in writing and language. Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah. Yeah.
And because I didn't prepare, that made it better.
Because you didn't prepare, that made it better? I'm going to save a lot of time on my sermons with that. Yeah, I like it. You heard it here first, folks. I'm just following Ramoda's advice. That's beautiful. Did you, now, one of the things you've also done, Ramoda, I mean, it's hard for us not to miss when he asked you what you did for fun.
Oh God.
And you said politics. I thought, I don't know, his face kind of like went like that, like looked up at you and kind of sideways. Can you say something about the fun of politics and how you see it that way? You answered some of it in the interview, but can you expand a little more?
Politics, when you do something, what is the way that I connect to God?
Politics is what it is, an act you take to love. Is that? I'm sorry.
Politics is the way that I connect to God. Politics is the way that I connect to God.
It's a way you connect to God.
Yeah.
Politics. Yeah.
Because one of the only things that I can do
Because it's one of the only things that you can do.
on my own.
Well, it's where you're in service to others too, right?
Yeah.
So that's very rewarding. Is
Yeah.
that what you mean by connect to God? Like it's your dharma, it's your path, or?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
One of the only ways that I know that I can make a difference.
One of the only ways I know that I can make a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Carl Rhodes definitely remembered you when he saw you, didn't he?
Yeah. You can do a little history of what I've been doing.
I can give a history.
I can.
Yeah.
basically, I wanted to go to high school. I wanted to go to high school, and then
Oh, you want to go to high school? Yeah.
and graduate with a high school diploma.
Graduate with a high school diploma.
And that was not done when I wanted to do it.
It wasn't done.
When I wanted to do
Yeah, that was quite a journey.
it.
Every time Ramoda laughs, Kappa kind of goes, "Oh my gosh!" and Ramoda laughs. That's a good. That tells me there's a good story there.
Yeah, it was rough. We had to, you know, the school, the public high school, basically just wanted Ramoda to sit in a small room with special ed kids and be babysat. And Ramoda said, "No, I'm actually here for an education and I deserve it and you need to give it to me." And they said, "Well, we don't think so because we don't think you're worthy of that." And so that's where I stepped in, and his mom, and we got all his ducks in a row, basically proving that he was worthy of that and deserving of that, and pushed the envelope, so to speak, and he went from special ed into mainstream education. And Ramoda doesn't read because he has two overlapping visual impairments that make it virtually impossible to read. Although he can read really big letters with big contrast if the words are short. He can't. One of these he can't do is he can't track across the page, so it makes it very hard to read. And so he did all his classes orally. So he would listen to the lesson, he would listen to the book, and then he had to sit tests that weren't really set up for him. They were multiple choice tests that he would hear once, and he would have to give the right answer. Wow. And I could not do that. So, and he aced them. So he would go through biology and get an A or a B plus, and they were quite surprised. And for years, other kids would come up to us, they'd see us out, and they'd go, "Hey," they go to me, "Hey, you Ramoda's dad? Oh man, that one smart bugger." So they were like telling me how smart my kid was, and I was like, "Yeah, I know. He's like a pain in the butt, but it's great." So yeah, he graduated like an actual high school diploma, which I'm really proud of you, Ramoda, for doing, and hanging in there and seeing it through. There were some really rough moments with what in your wheelchair? Oh, that's a whole another story. Yeah, I don't know if TJ wants to go there. It's a tangential story. That's up to TJ. He's the boss. You have to ask him.
I don't know. I feel like we established Ramoda's the boss today.
Oh, Ramoda's the boss again? I don't know. Well, that was interesting. So when he was younger, he brought it up, so I'll tell the story briefly and then I'll shut up. So I think, how old were you, Ramoda? You were at high school, you were 15? 17. Ramoda was 17, and at this time he had not been in the system, so to speak. So basically I was footing the bill for everything, including his motorized wheelchair, which I think was $10,000. And he had just outgrown it, and we just got him in the system, and he just got a chair, his first new chair through Medicaid. And the same week, a 10-year-old Pacific Islander boy from Oahu had his motorized wheelchair stolen.
Ooh.
And Ramoda saw this in the news, and Ramoda said to me, "I'm going to give him my wheelchair." and I said, "What? Okay, wait, slow down. Run that by me again." And he said, "Yeah, I want to give this boy my wheelchair because I'm not using that one now. I outgrew that one. I got a new one and he might need it." And I said, "Okay, let me work on that." So we called and Aloha Airlines agreed to fly it over for free. And we called Shriners and they agreed to fit the boy to the chair for free. And so we flew the chair over to this boy. And yeah, and it was so sweet. And I don't know who steals wheelchairs, but anyway, about 6 months later, we got a phone call from Oceanic Time Warner. And they spoke to me and they said, I want to talk to you about your son, Ramoda. And I said, uh-oh, what has he done now? And they said, well, we'd actually like to nominate him for the humanitarian award for this year for Hawaii. I said, why? And they said, well, we heard about this wheelchair thing and, you know, we really were moved by that. And we, you know, and I said, what's the catch? They said, no, nothing. You're invited to the world premiere of the film. What's the name of the film, Ramoda? Say it again. Door to Door. Thank you. Door to Door, starring William Macy, which is the true story of an adult with cerebral palsy who became the best door-to-door salesman in the whole country for a company that was doing door-to-door sales. And he couldn't even put his shirts on himself. His mother had to like button his shirt up for him. And he went out and his speech was different, but he could walk and ring doorbells. And he really cared about the products and really learned them. And we corresponded with him. We went to the world premiere and we ended up corresponding with him a bit through email. But they gave us high-speed internet for a year free. And I said, that's like giving out crack because, you know, there's no going back.
Going back, no. Yeah.
But I'll be paying you for the rest of my life, I know, after this 1 year. But that was a great story. And thank you, Ramoda, for your generosity of spirit and pushing me out of my comfort zone into like joining in with you. Thank you for that.
That's why you wanted to bring it up today.
Yeah.
So as Unitarian Universalists, we don't really have a concept of hell, but I'm willing to entertain the subject for people that steal wheelchairs. But yeah, that's I'm glad you remedied that horrible situation, Ramoda, and Kaba for all your work. Thank you. Yeah. Do you think the world needs more of that, Ramoda?
Yeah. Because of my physical disability,
Because of your physical disabilities?
I can't do it.
You can't do it?
Unless I work.
I wish that it would work.
No, I wish I could do more politics.
Wish you could
More.
do more politics.
Yeah. But because of my physical health,
Well, what's your big life goal?
you know, look,
Work for the governor in some capacity, or the president to be involved with some political reform or something, or
yeah.
interesting.
Well, you're a
Did you
man. You're a person after my heart with your fondness for the executive branch of government. Yeah.
Exactly. Did you get nominated for some position recently?
Yeah, I got voting commission.
Yeah, he's been nominated to serve on a disability voting access commission for the state or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Has that been ratified by the Senate yet?
not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Can't break out the champagne yet?
No.
Okay.
That'll be great. We're gonna have a new governor's administration. I don't know. There might be a spot coming up. So
I want to promote activism. Okay, promote.
you
Oh,
really
I'm sure.
Sorry.
And organic food more.
I like it. You might have a good person, a good audience, and a potential governor who's a medical doctor. So, yeah. I'm not taking any sides. I'm just saying. So.
I like to see data again
You'd like to see who again?
David Primal.
Ah, David Primal, the musician, the singer. Oh. Were there any questions from people that heard the interview that are here in the congregation that people would like to find out about? I'd love to hear from people, other people's experience of listening to that.
Yeah, we normally do this as sort of like the TJ and Ramoda show, but if we're being asked to open up the floor for questions, since it's sort of, we're keeping it in the congregation, that'd be fine. If someone wants to raise their hand electronically, that's fine. I'm also going to scan through the group, and you can just raise your regular non-electronic hand, and I will also try. Or honestly, we're all just family here, so you can just pipe up if there's something you want to say or ask.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Kimberly.
Ramoda, how did you arrange that interview?
My dad helped me. And he called
Yeah, I arranged it. It was not easy. But actually, I remember that day, Ramoda. That's so funny. So you just brought back, Kimberly, a really sweet memory. I had tried to get through to ask if there was any interest or any possibility, and I left voicemail after voice message after voice message with nothing. And one day we were driving to the west side of Maui, and we were on the Pali, and we were somewhere near McGregor Point, which is a lookout where you see the whales this time of year. And I for some reason I was on the hands-free on the cell phone. I was like, I don't know, I think it's a good time to call. I'm going to call right now. And I called right now then, and then she picked up, and it was like, it was a go. So just the timing was perfect.
Yeah, little intuition. I like it.
And then I became really close with the community around him after that. Some of his caregivers, and it was really sweet. But he was very open, and he one of the things he said in the interview, I think it's in the next tape, but I can't remember what's in there and what's not anymore, was he talked about being in a wheelchair, and we're in wheelchairs, the two of us, we're both in wheelchairs, and there's something about that, and it looks like we're disabled, but in a way it's something else, right? And they don't know that, but I don't know, just really beautiful sharing. And I actually, when Ramoda was little, people were handicapped, and then when he was starting high school, they were disabled, and now they're physically challenged. So the what's PC, what's politically correct, has evolved and changed, and I call Ramoda and Ram the wheelchair people. That's just my term, because no matter what your challenge is, being in a chair is being in a chair, and even though you might be there for different reasons, there's something shared in that experience. And it's not just the parking, but it's the whole gamut of it. And I love that they had that camaraderie. Like Ram had that with Ramoda. Like, I don't think Ramoda had it as much, but Ram felt like, hey, you're one of me. We're in this thing together, kind of. And it was beautiful for both of them. And yeah, thanks for asking that. That's cool. My favorite thing to do with Yukaba is what? Go dancing? Yeah, wheelchair dancing. That's where it's at.
Yeah, Ramoda likes to get down. That's for sure. Matt, I saw your hand before. Do you want to ask a question, or are you?
Sure. I was going to ask Ramoda what kind. I heard you really like to get into politics, and what issues or what type of politics do you like to get involved in?
Yeah, um, okay, I do,
Organic, organic food and agriculture.
I do,
You're muted, Kaba. Do you mind?
He's actually gone and done some lobbying for the acupuncture profession with colleagues of mine on Oahu. So disability rights, he did a lot of that on Maui.
yeah.
You know, getting van accessible parking at the public library, getting wheelchair parking at beach parks that weren't there, you know, just getting the sidewalk curb cut in Paia on Hana Highway. Ramoda brought in the Department of Justice because the state was not doing their due diligence. And when the Department of Justice wrote the state, they all of a sudden found $80,000 in a drawer somewhere and they got the job done really quick. So Ramoda kept on them.
Nice.
It's true. He was trying to get labeling for GMOs so that people know what they're eating and how they're grown and what goes into them so that people have choice. And the companies that make GMOs didn't want to do that for whatever reason. So we still don't really have that yet, but how are we getting close to that? There's actually a what? There's actually a federal law that's gone into effect.
But no one knows about it.
that's no comment.
Yeah.
Actually, my favorite. Yeah, go ahead.
I think you said it was passed in 2014. You thought?
What about Maui Dance Advocates? Was my
That was your
biggest
biggest win in Hawaii.
Yeah, you want to tell that story?
Because
He was able to change the bill, change the law.
Yeah.
Should I tell it really quick?
Yeah.
There used to be a law in Maui that restricted dancing if you were in an establishment that served alcohol, unless they had a designated dance floor and you were standing on it without a drink in your hand. And the Liquor Commission, that has a very big budget and paid salaries, would go around and bully patrons and establishments quite frequently. And Ramoda formed a group called the Maui Dance Advocates to challenge this. And in the beginning, the Liquor Commission was very rude and said things like, if you don't like it, you can move or live somewhere else, or no, we're not going to define dancing for you. Look it up in the dictionary, things like that. And eventually, somebody donated money for legal fees. We don't know who, anonymously. And it went to court in front of the judge, and they lost multiple times in hearing, and they lost in court. And but persistence paid off, because state legislators got wind of the whole thing, looked at it, were completely embarrassed that this was still law in Maui, and slapped the hand and changed the law of the Maui, was it council or? Yeah, I think the council had to change it or something, or did the state just change it? I think the state just made changes that changed it on Maui. So now it's legal to dance wherever on Maui, basically. It was some law that we think came about during the Second World War when all the Marines were stationed here, but we don't know for sure.
Great. We have another question from the studio audience. We're going to go to the Davis household and ask whether David or Junko would like to ask their question.
Yes, Kaba, I noticed your last name, Anand, makes me wonder whether you have a connection with the Hindu tradition prior to this interview, since it means bliss, I know. And I also wonder if Ramoda's name has some special meaning we should know about.
You're muted, Kaba.
Sorry, I know I'm trying to be discreet here. Good questions. I don't know that I'm open to answering questions. It's Ramoda's interview, but Anand is Hindu, very, very astute. And no, I haven't followed any Hindu traditions, although I did study religion and philosophy quite extensively as an undergrad. But my studies and life education took me to India at an early age, and I lived abroad for quite some time. I think I spent almost 2 years, about a year and 3/4 living in India, and all told in the 5 or 6 times that I went. And I did study sort of what would you call it, modern Hinduism or altered Hinduism. But Ramoda's name is special, and his Ramoda is also Sanskrit. So Ramoda Anand, Ramoda means divine gift. And his name is actually Ramoda Prem Anand, so divine gift of love is his name. So him and Ram made it quite a pair, I gotta say.
So we're getting a little close to time. We like to call this the lightning round. Ramoda, is there anything you'd like us to know as a group, or anything you'd like to share with us?
No,
No, you're good. You're all pal.
yeah,
What, not one last joke? Come on.
oh,
No, no, that's it.
it is, you want more. No,
You see people like me, don't judge them by how they look.
yeah.
Good reminder.
Thanks for that. Well, we've done it again, friends. Another really wonderful hour of time together. We really try to start and end things on time. And Ramoda, you've given us so much of your time this evening, and it's so wonderful to hear about all the time and blessings you've given so many people in these lands. And you know, don't mess with someone who says you can't dance here. That's you're in trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Kaba, thank you so much for your time as well. And it was beautiful for all of us to be together. So I hope everyone has a wonderful evening, wonderful week ahead. And yeah, many blessings to all of you, and aloha. I'll unmute. You can all unmute and chit chat. I'll remove all the spotlights and such.
No.
Thank you. Bye-bye.